Nandemo guy here, and it is time for the first project of the channel. I'm rewiring up my house for Ethernet. So let's run over a quick list of things you're going to need. First thing you're going to need is an expansion board. They sell these in this case a 6-port model. You can get them in bigger sizes. You're going to need a wall plate for as many ports as you're going to need, for each location. They come in 1s, 2s, I've seen 3s, 4s, so just whatever kind you need. You're going to need wire, cat5 or cat6. Careful because they sell cat3 also, but I would suggest stick with cat5 or cat6 if you want to spend more money. Cat6 obviously has a higher bandwidth, but for most practical applications, cat5 is going to be more than what you need. You're going to need a mounting bracket or a mounting box, depending on how much access you have to the studs and where you're going to put the outlet. Sometimes these low voltage brackets are easier to use. And you're going to need some jacks like these. These are quick wire. They're pretty easy to connect. You can kind of punch them down without any special tool. Next is your tools. These are the bare minimum. There are other tools that I will suggest, but these first ones are the bare minimum. You need at least a pencil for marking out where your jack's going to be, also for marking out stud locations. A stud finder, obviously, for what I just mentioned. A utility knife for cutting through drywall, cutting wire, whatever you might need it for. A screwdriver. I like the ones with the interchangeable heads for this type of situation because you may be going between flat and Phillips head. You're going to need a drill with, I would suggest, at least a 1/2 inch or a 3/4 inch bit on there, especially if you're going to be pulling more than one wire to each location. A hammer and a nail, which I'll show you later. You can use these for locating the position of the baseboard. When you crawl underneath the floor or get into a crawl space or whatever, that would be helpful. And any type of wire strippers or cutters to just cut your wires down to size. So yeah, let's get started. Laundry room. Using the template, and inside this cupboard here is where I'm going to put everything. I will cut that template out. Alright, so we cut out the template. We'll just slide our wire box in. These tabs, when you tighten them down, will fold out. Hold it to the wall. And there we go. Next, we will be hanging our punch down blocks slash expansion board. Marked out where our stud is. You can see right there, obviously the stud is right there because that's where the cabinets are hung, and this guy will be going right about like that. So let me put that up real quick. This block had these little push tab things to hold it into like a steel or aluminum strip with holes drilled in it. I cut those out so I can mount with drywall screws. And there we go. So that will be my data block. If you're asking yourself, how do I figure out where to drill my hole through the floor? On the other side, where the washing machine was, this little hole right here is right behind that downspout. Go straight down from the hole. What you do is you nail a nail right through the floor. Obviously get down, look under, and make sure that there's nothing that you're going to hit with that short of a nail. There shouldn't be anything if the house is built to code, but you hammer that through, and then if you crawl under, you'll see that nail sticking out. I actually used a nail with a red point on it, so it's even a little bit easier to notice, and that's how you figure out, you just go in that way, about 3 inches, and drill your hole. Next thing we'll do is crawl down into the crawl space here. That's where we're going to be going. Down in there, crawl under, drill a hole for our wiring. Alright, here we go into the crawl space. I've already run some of the wires, but I'm cleaning stuff up now. So let's get down in here. Wouldn't be crawling under here if you shouldn't. You don't like spiders? Yeah, don't crawl under thing. Unless you have to. I don't care, nor do I have arachnophobia by any means, but I'm not a huge fan of spiders. But that's what it is. So, here is where my wires run for the room. 2 wires, I've stapled them up, and that's what I'm working on now, but I've got to pull some more slack, so that's what I'll be doing right now. And there we go. All the way over and then up through the floor. I'm trying to fish my wire up through the wall. I'm using another piece of wire. Ah! Just stay on there. Set this camera down. See if I can reach it. Yes, indeed. That was a pain in my ass. Now I gotta get it from there up to there. It's only about 2 feet. Should be fairly straightforward, I hope. That's 1. Got 5 more to go. But now that I've got this one done, it should be a bit easier, I'm thinking. We'll see. So now that we have our first wire pulled through the wall to where we're going to go, here's the trick. So next thing you want to do is take another section of wire. You're going to take the wire you pulled up through the wall and make a loop like that, or a little hook. The other section of wire, which you want to be, long enough to go through the floor and still be able to pull on it, you're going to put another loop like that, and you're just going to link them together, and then you're going to tape up these ends. Just tape them to each other. On the top one, you want to leave a little section sticking up, and then what you're going to do is you will crawl back under the floor or whatever. You're going to pull this back through. You pull the whole wire back through, and now this part will come back down. You can take your new wire and you can loop it up over the top and tape it. Then you go back up to the room or wherever, you pull it up through the floor, and you basically use this like an elevator to pull each new wire up, and then as you bring the new wire up, you tie it off somewhere, pull this hook back down, attach the next one, pull it back up. I did that in this case for all 6 of the wires. The tape came off one time, which is frustrating, but sometimes you just got to do it a couple times. So that's a trick for pulling up wires. Alright, so we have these 6 wires running in. Also run my DSL wire up through here. They're running that up over here to a phone jack so I can put my DSL router in here as well. And there's our phone wire. And I'll be wiring it into this phone jack. The way it works is I will have the blue go to the red wire and the blue-white go to the green wire. Blue and blue-white are the first pair on the standard phone wiring. So that's how we'll wire it up. Alright, so we've got the phone jack wired in. Now what I'm going to do down here in the corner, I'm going to drill a hole so I can run a power strip back here and run the wire down and out into that outlet. Alright, so we've got our 6 wires pulled into where our data block is. Next thing we want to do is get into the rooms and wire up our jacks so that we can finish the, tying down the wall plates, the jacks and everything, so that we can pull the necessary amount of slack from our data block side, cut the wires, and then punch those down. Okay, now that we've got our 2 wires running in, we're going to put them to the terminal jack. In 1 second to get my wire strippers, and I'll be right back. Alright, so they actually make a fancy tool for cutting back the shielding on these wires, but if you don't have one, just using your regular wire strippers, just very carefully snip a little corner like this. See? You can take that corner, peel it open a little bit, like that, so you can get a good grip on it. You just peel it back, grab the wires, and you can pull the shielding back quite a ways. You only need about an inch, inch and a half or so to expose the wire pairs. Now you can see on the jack itself, it actually gives you the wire colors. So we're going to go ahead and hook that up just like that, and we'll be right back. One thing to note on these jacks is you'll see where they have an A and a B. You'll want to use the coloring for the A. And there we go. If you have an actual punch down tool, it can snip these wires off by itself. Otherwise, just go back through. You can trim them with a pair of wire clippers, or just an X-Acto knife or razor blade. Alright, so I've gone ahead and I've punched down both jacks, put them into the wall plate, and attached the wall plate to the bracket. Next thing we want to do is go to the block, pull our wire from that side to remove a majority of the slack. Not all of it. You still want a little bit back there in case you have any repairs to do or any changes in the future. But we'll go ahead and pull our slack from the other side, trim the wires to length, and punch them down on the block itself. Alright, there's the finished wiring. I'm going to be setting up the DSL modem right now and get that all plugged in. And here's what we have. Now right now everything's kind of a big mess. I don't have any short patch cables, but that's going to be the line for my IP phone. And there's my wireless router, my DSL router, and my AT&T micro cell tower. Looks like we've got green lights all around. Now let's go see if my IP phone will power up. Right, here's my phone, and I don't actually remember which of these I hooked that to, so we'll just test it out. Try jack number 1. There it goes. Phone's downloading all of its stuff. And let's see. There we go. Awesome. There we go. Alright guys, so we're done wiring up Ethernet in the house. I've wired up my office. I'll give you a quick look at it here. It's kind of messy, but there's my IP phone back there, computers. So yeah, it's all working. I have 2 in my office. I ran 3 to the to my TV room. You know, one for my DVD player, and, you know, game systems and whatnot. And then in my guest room, I ran one so that, you know, anybody staying over can quickly wire something up. You know, I have Wi-Fi also, but you never know. You know, a lot of things work better wired. So yeah, project complete. Overall, I think I spent probably close to $100 in parts, which really isn't too bad. You can save some of that money, you know, obviously by just punching a hole in the wall and sticking the wire out. But if you want to run it a little bit cleaner, you're going to pay a little bit more. So yeah, project complete. Hopefully this helps somebody. You know, obviously these steps are useful for running something other than Ethernet wiring. Idea is the same whether you're pulling new wire for new electrical jacks, phone lines, you know, cable, whatever. So hope you guys enjoy it.